Good morning. This is the 2-minute warning. Reporters online, if you have questions, please use the raised hand function and wait to be called upon. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us today as we share updates on the winter storm that is arriving in North Carolina as we speak. Precipitation has already begun in the far west and will move east over the course of the day. I'm joined by Director of Emergency Management Will Ray, Secretary of Transportation Daniel Johnson, Secretary of Public Safety Jeff Smythe, Secretary of Health and Human Services Dev Sangvi, Major General Todd Hunt of the North Carolina National Guard, and the Commander of the State Highway Patrol, Colonel Freddie Johnson. Jackie Matevier and Mary Lee Bahar are our Spanish language interpreters, and our American Sign Language interpreters are Nicole Fox and Karen Magoon. In most parts of North Carolina, you can expect the weather to impact your life starting today and lasting until next week. If you're watching from home, hopefully you've made all the preparations that you need because depending on where you live, it's about time to stay put. Please do not be out on the roads unless it is absolutely necessary. That's for your own safety, as well as the safety of the NCDOT road crews, the State Highway Patrol, the power company line crews, and other emergency workers who are already hard at work. Starting today, we're anticipating sleet, ice, and freezing rain, whether you do not want to be driving in. And the next week is going to be cold. In most of the state, we expect temperature to fall below freezing every night for the next week. Whatever ice or snow is on the ground at the end of the day will refreeze overnight. Black ice will remain a risk in many places into next week, especially on bridges, overpasses, and shaded areas. Dangerous traveling conditions are not, however, our only concern. Please plan for the possibility that you'll not only be stuck at home for a few days, but that you may be without power. Ice accumulation is heavier than snow, and it can knock over trees, which can then fall on power lines. Avoid any downed power line and report it to your utility. Fellow North Carolinians, this is a serious storm. We are taking it seriously, and so should you. Last night, I requested an emergency declaration from President Trump, which we received approval of that request within the last hour. This declaration enables us to access federal assets so that we can deploy additional generators to critical facilities like hospitals, support sheltering operations, provide emergency food, water, and fuel, get help from the Forest Service to remove downed trees. We are grateful for the partnership of the federal government and its quick approval of our request. At the state level, we have shipped more than 100 pallets of meals and drinking water across the state, in addition to more than 700 cots and blankets. The State Highway Patrol is ready to clear roads and respond to emergencies. NCDOT is fully stocked with fuel and salt to respond to the weather around the clock. 21 counties are opening warming stations, 7 counties are opening shelters. We expect more to happen over the course of the day. Now here's what you can do. Stay informed. Make sure you're following your local media, the National Weather Service, and your local emergency management agency for the latest updates and recommendations. Next, double-check your plan for how your household will function if the power goes out. How will you safely keep warm? What will you eat? Who will you call for help in case you need it? Be ready to reach out to family, neighbors, or authorities if you are without power for an extended period of time. Lastly, don't forget to check on your loved ones, your neighbors, or anyone you know who might be vulnerable. When we see someone who needs help, we extend a helping hand. That's the North Carolina way. The safest way for us to get through a storm like this is to do it together. Thank you, and I'll now invite forward Director Ray and then Secretary Johnson.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning, everyone. Winter storm warnings, ice storm warnings, and winter weather advisories are going into effect starting midday today for western areas of our state and later this evening farther east. These warnings and advisories remain in effect until Monday across much of the state. Significant wintry precipitation is forecast over the weekend with major impacts lingering into early next week as dangerously cold temperatures are forecast. Light wintry precipitation has already begun across the far western portions of our state, but impacts will be limited until accumulation begins around midday across the mountains. Mixed wintry precipitation will expand into central and eastern portions of our state by late this afternoon and into the evening hours. Sleet, freezing rain, and rain will continue through Sunday and into early Monday. Major impacts from significant ice accumulations are forecast across the southern mountain regions and into portions of the Blue Ridge Escarpment, where 3/4 to over 1 inch of ice accumulations are expected. At this time, much of the Piedmont is forecast to receive greater than 1/4 inch of ice accumulations. The greatest snow and sleet accumulations are expected across northern portions of the mountains and the northwest Piedmont, where 2 to 4 inches is forecast. While precipitation may begin as light snow, most of the accumulations will be from sleet. With cold temperatures settling into the region, any accumulations will linger into early next week and black ice is possible each night. All North Carolinians should be finalizing plans now and should be prepared to stay home and off the roadways starting later today through early next week. The State Emergency Response Team, including all of our interagency partners, the private sector, our nonprofit and volunteer agencies, remain activated. There are 51 local states of emergency, and as the Governor said, 21 local emergency operations center activated or are in monitoring status. We continue to support commodity distribution, and as of this morning, the State Emergency Response Team has distributed approximately 120 pallets of MREs, or meals ready to eat, and drinking water to assist communities with shelter or warming center operations. This is in addition to approximately 1,100 cots and blankets to supplement local supplies, as well as the commodities that have been shipped into local communities over the past several months as we work to build local capacity. Many communities across the state are opening shelter locations or warming stations. For the most up-to-date information on those resources available in your community, please visit your local government and local emergency management agency's website and social media accounts. The North Carolina National Guard and the entirety of the North Carolina State Highway Patrol are active and on station today across the state to assist local communities and state partners with clearing roadways, responding to emergencies, and with transportation needs. 95 National Guard force packages are on station and will be assisting with clearing roadways from downed trees, helping disabled motorists, supplementing first responders, and assisting with commodity distribution. These force packages remain at approximately 454 soldiers, 182 vehicles, and 3 UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters. We remain in close coordination with our energy sector partners who are represented here at the State Emergency Operations Center and will be closely monitoring power outage information to quickly assist in restoring power in our communities that may see outages. The North Carolina Forest Service remains with their resources on station and personnel staged across the state. that are ready to assist local first responders with roadway clearing where needed. Our communications personnel and equipment, as we have discussed in previous days, have been pre-deployed to assist with degradation of the 911 systems, radio systems, and phone or data systems. If you have an emergency and call 911 and another community's 911 center answers, do not hang up. Provide them with detailed information about your situation, your location, and they can and will assist you. As a reminder, 911 should be used for emergencies only. For general information, please call 211 or follow your local government and emergency management websites and social media accounts. We will continue to work with the entire state emergency response team, our local and state governments, the private sector, our nonprofit and volunteer agencies, as the forecast continues to evolve to ensure we can support our 11 million North Carolinians. Finally, as I said yesterday, please check on your friends, your family members, your neighbors, or those in your community who may need additional support this weekend. We're going to see significant winter storm impacts, and we are stronger and more resilient together. Thank you, Governor. I'll now turn it over to Secretary Johnson from NCDOT.
Thank you, Governor and Director Roy. As we start to see some of the initial waves of this storm in the western part of our state, I want to reiterate what others have said this morning. Please avoid travel this weekend unless it's absolutely necessary. By staying off the roads the next few days, you'll not only help keep you and your families safe, you'll help keep our crews, emergency responders, and other personnel safe as they do their important work. If you choose to drive in the conditions that we anticipate will impact our roads, you are rolling the dice with poor odds. The risk of crashing in these conditions is high, which can lead to serious injury or being stranded in a disabled vehicle in bitterly cold conditions. One thing that's important to note in the days ahead is that freezing temperatures will continue to create hazardous conditions on the roads. Just because precipitation isn't falling doesn't mean it's safe to travel. If you're traveling by rail, please check Amtrak and NC by train for updated schedules, as many routes are closing ahead of the storm. Ferry routes may also be impacted due to high winds. Please check schedules ahead of any travel. NCDOT crews have been working tirelessly this week on pre-storm preparations. I'm grateful for all their efforts and for the work they'll do to help clear the roads in the days ahead. We have crews strategically placed across the state and ready to help with clearing roads, cutting branches, and assisting our utility partners in cases involving damaged power lines. More than 2,000 DOT employees will be working around the clock the next several days to address storm impacts. We've poured our full effort into preparing for this event because we aren't taking chances with your safety. I encourage everyone to stay informed and, if at all possible, to stay put throughout the duration of this storm and until it's deemed safe to travel. People can visit drivenc.gov to view the latest road conditions and other storm-related information. Thank you. I'll turn it back over to Governor Stein for questions.
Thank you, Secretary Johnson. If folks have questions, please go to one of the microphones on either side. And if there are no questions in the room, are there any questions online?
Andy Dance with WCAB News. You may ask your question.
Hi, I'm Annie Dance. With the winter storm hitting communities that are still recovering from Hurricane Helene, will the state help with debris cleanup? And are you concerned about the risk of diseases like measles in emergency shelters? How is the state addressing that?
I will invite forward the Secretary of Health and Human Services to answer the second question. We are concerned about the double whammy impact in western North Carolina. There are already a lot of downed trees left on the ground from the last storm, Hurricane Helene, and any future trees falling will create more headaches, create more fuel on the ground once we get into wildfire season. We intend to work closely with our partners at the State Forest Service and the U.S. Forest Service to make sure roadways are cleared, power lines are not impacted, and do everything we can to help people in western North Carolina get through this with the minimum impact possible. As it relates to transmittable diseases, Secretary?
Great. Thank you, Governor. You know, anytime we have individuals in close quarters, we worry about any kind of communicable disease. So we ask that individuals practice those things that we've been talking about for a long time. If you're sick, keep your distance. If you happen to touch surfaces or are close to others, wash your hands frequently. Hand hygiene, keeping your distance are going to be two important things, particularly if you're in close quarters.
Any other questions online?
Annie Dance has another question. Annie, please go ahead.
Thank you. Just a quick follow-up about the roads. You had mentioned, the Secretary mentioned when deemed safe to travel. When do you expect that to be?
No. We have to see how heavy a wallop this storm brings. The fear is the lingering cold into next week will continue to have real impacts on folks' ability to travel. If there's an area that's in the shade, if it's a bridge or an overpass where it's not getting ground temperature, those areas tend to stay icy beyond when you would think the ice should be there. And so we will, over the course of the coming days, have more information, more guidance for drivers. DriveNC.gov. Did I get that correct?
Yes, sir.
Every time I throw out a website, I got to be worried. Folks should check drivenc.gov for the latest information in their part of the state. That's the other thing is you might be in the Far East and things actually may be better on Monday. But then you may be up in Boone or Watauga County and it's still hazardous to drive. So folks really need to be paying attention to what's going on in their local community.
We have another question online from Jose Sandoval with Blue Ridge Public Radio.
Hey, thank you. Just to ask as well, we're based out of Western North Carolina. Are there any concerns about losing phone service or phone signal? Any concerns like that for the region?
We are worried. We're worried about the impact of the storm on all kinds of infrastructure, whether it's roads and being able to drive, or whether it's phones, being able to talk to each other, whether it's water or wastewater. So we're just on our toes, working in conjunction not only at the state level, but with our local partners and with our private sector partners so that we can be as responsive to whatever hiccups come along the way.
There are no additional questions online.
Thank you all very much. Good luck getting through the next couple days.